Good afternoon, good morning. Hey there guys, how is everybody doing? Hope everyone is well and having a great start to the week. Let's jump straight into the charts and have a look at what big boy Bitcoin is doing, and obviously we'll do the usual. I'm not particularly, again, I do often find this, I've been a little bit busy this morning, I've not looked at many altcoin setups, but I think Bitcoin and a few of the bigger assets are pretty clear here, to be honest. So we'll have a look at some levels at Bitcoin. I'm not really going to dive into ETH too much, to be honest. I still think it's going to follow BTC to a certain extent, but Sol with some interesting levels as well, as we can just see down here, which would be nice to play out if they can. BNB, just keep an eye on as well, just because there's some similar nice levels below. So yeah, let's jump into some Bitcoin. As I say, if you've got any alt setups or any questions whatsoever, don't matter how low ball the questions are, just fire them away in the chat. If you are coming from the Telegram or Discord, just jump in the chat here. We will still continue with the Discord pop-ups now and again. Yo, Mother's Milk, Dot. Yeah, we can have a look at Dot. Actually, that's a good call, actually, because I've not looked at some of those, let's call them legacy older assets in a while, actually, so that could be quite nice to look at. Right, so let's cover Bitcoin quickly. I think it's fairly easy here, to be honest. We've pushed up from this lower diamond here at the low end of the meme triangle. Initially last week, let's just cover this quickly, but initially last week was looking for a little bit lower. Sometimes you do find that what can happen is you can push down into this demand zone a little bit further and maybe get a double diamond. That wasn't to be. It was an absolute very, very valid risk on long trade from there, from that BTC diamond. If you're not familiar with that, it's basically the confluence of the spot and perpetuals market bidding that little green dot, which is actually a alerts log overlay here. No repaint, no momentum, no shitty AI indicator, pure raw data printed on your chart telling you there's a bid. You might want to have a look, sir, and get involved. All right, so we pushed up, wanted lower, didn't get it. We've pushed up, started to trend, as you can see, high lows all the way on the 15-minute, and here we are. So throughout the weekend, little bit of chop to be expected, to be honest, and even on higher time frame, kind of 4-hour forming the range and getting some chop as well, but absolutely fine. Yesterday morning, woke up, was kind of in this zone here. Nearest top levels we were seeing was at 75k at that time, a few lower levels here as well. So initially thinking, yep, okay, 75k is going to be the one. I think Coinbase was showing that as well, obviously here. So on this initial push up, you're not obviously seeing the supply and the offers come in immediately. You're just kind of like looking for a confluence of zones. Nearest zone at that time was 75k. But the offers that came in, as we can see here on Coinbase Pro, and I believe that Binance as well, double bands here almost, just as we hit the top. We just didn't quite reach that zone, did we? So absolutely fine. You've got to watch the order flow as it happens and analyze as we go. So yeah, some group spots selling, as we can see here in the overlays, right into that 72k area. And then the offers basically continued, as you can see right now, still in a little bit of a supply zone. So that's what we've got. Let's go through some exchanges now. So yeah, from the supply zone, getting a little bit of a drop. There's still, I do have to say, there's still not much follow through bid here at all at the minute whatsoever. Your nearest biggest resting limit orders are right down there at 66.6 at the minute. But that can change, as we saw here on this rise up. You're kind of like looking higher at 75k, but as we rise up, the offers come in, people start to sell in. So does that happen on the way down? We'll just review as we go. Okay, so nearest resting limits, yes, 66.6. If we get rotations down, we'll see what bid comes in. Maybe we fill some bid as we come down. Interesting to see, and as I've always said, and I know a lot of the guys in the socials like this chart as well, always watch the Qcoin chart, because these guys do tend to be on the right side of the market, and you can see they just capped price there as well, as we put in a couple of little highs, and then they just said, yep, no higher, sir, 73k is your limit. And we got the rotation down. I don't think there's too much edge from many of the other markets at the minute, but basically all you need to do is, even if you're not looking at the chart, just look at your ratios here. Just have a quick look at ratios here, you know. You've got no follow through bid, and what is a key takeaway that we've always said over the last couple of weeks is that if perpetuals have got a bid here, okay, and they're dynamically moving their limit orders up as well here, as you can see, into yesterday's move up, what that is we've mentioned, is that's indicative of trend continuation. But really what you don't want to see is you don't want to see these guys fade in the bid. So these guys have just got no lower bid at the minute whatsoever. Now you're gonna have to kind of like come down, and like I mentioned in the video earlier, you're gonna have to come down auction price and go and find a bid. Simple as it is. And again, these guys actually, similar to the Qcoin chart we just looked at, failed, found some offers up there, and then, you know, they kind of like capped price at that 73k again. I don't think we're seeing too much edge from the other markets really as of yet, as in for lower areas to look at. I think we just need to let this thing play out now and just see what we get. I'm just gonna have a quick look at TUSD. Yeah, okay, I mean, I don't think TUSD is doing much volume anyway. What's Bitstamp doing? Supply zone, yep, okay, nothing really to see there. I just want to have a look at and show you volume. Okay, so what I've noticed over the last 12, probably 12 hours or so, is funding. Funding's actually probably risen more from this little dip down over the last 12 hours than it actually initially did on the move up. Binance funding it's nothing extravagant, but Binance funding 0.0235, Bybit funding currently 0.0126, so nothing too extravagant there. But it just shows a lot of people are in buy the fucking dip mode. Again, what do we tend to find when that happens? We flush a little bit lower, as you can see here from the red line, 10k and under order sizes, trying to get involved, and you generally just get that dip down until you get some bull dips or something like that. And that's kind of what you've got going on here, as we can see retail traders trying to get involved pre-halving, or whatever narrative they've got in their minds. Trying to get involved here. I would still be up for a little bit of a dip down to go and find some dip, because some bid, because as we've seen, we've got no local bid from the central exchanges at the minute. That's not to say some big large market bid can't come in and just push this up. We are just resting at the top of that meme triangle. We'll go and have a look at that in a second as well. But no particular edge here right now, I have to say. Volume's coming right off. There was no particularly bearish divergences at the top there on my look back. I do have this on a slightly slower look back. If you went to a 5 minute, there probably was, to be honest. Dubious really. But spot, it sounds obvious really, but spot we're not interested in following up there. We had the group spot selling going on up there, and we also had some bearish divergences from spot, and we had the high open interest, LS ratio, and funding cluster, if you're familiar with that profile, and we rotate back down. So even from last week, I thought 75k was gonna be a little bit of a hard one to take. Yesterday morning, was hoping we could have got a little thrash up there, but that wasn't quite to be. We take what we get, don't we? So yeah, interesting levels a little bit lower. We've got a weekly open, which is a little bit lower at the kind of like 69,325 level, and then we've got some value areas lower as well, which I won't go into too much detail. It really doesn't matter unless you find a bid on these levels anyway. So yeah, volume, no particular edge right now. You are kind of like coming back to trend. This wick here is a little bit of a higher low, obviously, isn't it? Just on a 15-minute chart. Let me just go to an hourly. Yeah, open interest still a little bit high here. We can kind of see where we've wicked down to there. Open interest a little bit high. BTC DOM, interesting, is it? Yeah, we'll go and have a look at that. I mean, I'm sure Bitcoin, just timing wise, really, we'll go and have a look at the range, and not even looking. I've not really looked at dominance too much, to be honest, although I do pay attention to it like everybody else. But just in the range we are in, I think Bitcoin's due some volatility, to be honest. I mean, obviously, you know, if you're trading very lower time frames, this is, you know, and you trade in leverage, this is volatile as it is. You know, get involved here, take some profit here, very, very easy. You know, the TRDR console is showing you the way, from risk exposure to risk off, take a bit of profit, get back in, take a bit more profit, and the like. But if we just drop to, I'm just going to go to my daily ratio a second and have a look at an overall look, and let's just have a quick look while we're here at the range and the meme triangle together. So what you can basically see is on a 4-hour basis, at the bottom here, this is where we had the last diamond. I've not got it on there, let me just put that on. So this is where we had the last diamond, in that 64k zone. Greedy trader, liked a bit lower. Fake out of the diamond at the bottom would have been very, very nice. Wasn't to be. We got the bid and we moved up. At that time as well, 550 to 600 million depth, open interest down. Slightly negative funding as we pushed up. Let's not go over that. But as we see now, you're back in the supply zone. Open interest, not extravagant like it was back here. Okay, so you can see the open interest has cooled off. So yeah, I would be in for a little bit of chop and volatility around here to some of these levels, and then maybe script some continuation in. I'm not gonna get immediately bearish and say this is just gonna nuke back right down at the minute, because I'm just not seeing major evidence of that yet, to be honest. And especially if you just go and look at a daily and a weekly classic TA higher time frame kind of chart, it all looks very orderly, to be honest. Okay, but yeah, just obviously just looking at this, you know, you've obviously come out of this triangle, you've done a little bit of a classic TA back test. Do you need a bit of volatility in here to then get some continuation? Yeah, probably, because as we've just seen on the Volume King template, there are a lot of retail longs piling in on this. What would you call those retail longs piling on here instead of where they should have been long back here? Breakout traders, you know, they're trying to grab a breakout. Nothing wrong with that as long as you are trading it correctly and managing your risk. But really, your longs should be down here with the data that we are given. You're at the range lows, you've got a BTC diamond, go. Okay, this is not an area to go really, really risk on, I would say, and especially from the evidence we are seeing, there's no bid. Okay, there's no bid. So if you are, you know, it's the same as when we were hitting the 61k level back here. Take a little bit of profit and maybe keep a little bit on. It's the same again here. If you've put a little bit of risk on there, it's almost a case of, you know, and depending how you trade this sort of thing, I'm not talking about spot either. Risk on, take a bit of profit, and then just watch what develops. That's the kind of situation you're in right now. You know, sometimes it's very, very easy to just come on the live stream and go, yep, we're in bid, it's very, very good, looking great. I would, you know, put on some risk exposure, not financial advice, obviously. But right at the minute, or, you know, if we were live yesterday here, I could have done a live yesterday, actually. If we were live here as we were hitting that supply zone, it would have been, yeah, you want to risk off a little bit here. Open interest, high LS ratio, volume, slight volume divs, and you're in this supply zone, go a little bit risk off. But then it's down to traders' execution and, yeah, your style, really. You know, do you want to go full risk off there, or do you want to leave a little bit on? I would be tempted to leave a bit on and then just watch what kind of price action plays out. Okay, let's have a quick look at liquidity then. Just on a 4-hour basis, open interest, we can see hit those highs again. So if you're not familiar with this template, go and grab it, Liquidity King, because really, really do like this RSI open interest metric. Okay, so this is an open interest with an RSI metric. Really, really, really good to you know, just get a little bit of sentiment on the market. And you can see here on a 4-hour basis at the top there, open interest, RSI, really, really hot. As you were hitting that supply zone, really, really good. In general, I would say the liquidity in the perps market is not too bad. Could come down a little bit further, another 400 million or so, to try and just clip down into what we would call almost our standard now. You know, just grab this, and I won't go over this in too much detail. We'll move on in a second, but just grab this. It looks like our base, the kind of like base zone for this liquidity level now. You're kind of talking at like 1 billion, okay, big billion aggregated on the perps, and then probably down at that 640 to 600 million basis on spot. So spot is still quite high. Not too surprised to see that, because we're almost at all-time highs. Obviously, you know, we're battling all-time high levels. There's going to be a lot of contracts and traders vying for positions, taking profit, and juggling portfolio and risk exposure with spot. But perps market, a lot of people have been wiped out, especially from that 61 level, and then we've got a ramp up and a short squeeze, obviously, from this area here. This rise in liquidity here, when we're at the lows, I think this was basically a load of shorts. Why do I say that? Because as we rose up, we got really, really negative funding, especially on Bybit. And then the liquidity in this zone, pretty settled, to be honest, pretty settled. Just keep an eye on this on a 4-hour basis. If you do get any further flush in either direction, down to this 1 billion mark, I think you can probably get some nice continuation, okay? Can you show us how to use this template, trade, execution, etc.? Which one? This liquidity king? If you go to my channel, if you haven't already, Martin, there's a TRDR tutorials. So just go to the playlist. There's a nice house music and chilled trading music section that you might like. But there's a tutorial section as well, which runs over the basics of the platform. And then it's basically got my templates that I particularly use. Okay. Which is the aggregated OBD, Volume King. So I run through all of those. So if you just go and find that playlist, and we go from there. But basically, this one, just quickly, I like this one on a higher time frame. Okay, this Liquidity King I like on a higher time frame. I like it when all the traders are washed out. Okay, so liquidity is low on the perps market, as you can see in these lows here. All right, so just grab this template, grab this chart. Liquidity is low. We find it very easy to float price up on low volume. All right, when liquidity is really, really hot. Okay, so check open interest in Confluence as well. But when liquidity is really, really hot, and what I mean is, for instance, on the perps market in top sections like this and here, there's just a lot of contracts running through the books. Okay, there's a lot of traders in the perps markets. You'll often find that funding's high as well. So when we hit these kind of zones, we then zoom into a 5-15 minute chart on the lower time frames with the OBD. Okay. So for instance, just quickly, this one here, where we were down at 61k, liquidity absolutely nuked in the perps market, open interest absolutely nuked. There's not many more people getting liquidated, so a lot of people have already been liquidated in this kind of range. You then kind of like float to your 15-minute OBD, and you say to yourself, okay, I maybe want to try and get risk on. All right, and where do we go risk on? Let's just load this up quickly. Let me just refresh that. Come on. Bit of lag on the stream. Might have to close it down. If you can open that would be brilliant. Yeah, basically you want to just basically then drop to your 15-minute OBD. Best obviously risk reward is looking for your diamond alerts and the like. Right, let's just go to that again. Oh no, we are not loading. Right, let's close that down. Never had that on a live before. Ah, something is going on with the TRDR console at the minute. Let's have a look at this. All right, sorry about that. Right, we're in. Right, sorry about that. We're in. Yeah, basically, where was I? So from the Liquidity King, you look on the higher time frames and you're looking at risk on or risk off exposure. You then obviously want to be jumping. Even Chrome, yeah. I mean, I have Safari open because that's just, I'm on a Mac. It's just kind of like what I use the most. It's been running fine all day, to be honest. But I do tend to jump to Chrome if I'm getting any lag. But yeah, then you want to jump to your lower time frames from the Liquidity King template, and then you want to be looking at risk exposure. So obviously we just looked at that 61k zone where liquidity was obviously absolutely nuked, and that was down here. Okay, so if you just remember what I showed you a minute ago was 61k, liquidity was absolutely nuked. You then say to yourself, right, everything's low, it's going to be really, really nice to float price up on lower volume. Let's zoom in on the OBD. What do we find happening? We've got a big top level down here at 60k, and then we were getting a load of BTC diamonds in massive aggregated depth just as we hit this zone here. And at that time as well, I posted all this in the Discord. But at that time as well, we were hitting volume divs as well. Okay, so really, really nice. Right, I'll stay on Chrome for a second then, because it just seems to be running okay at the minute. But yeah, coming down on Bitcoin, obviously. I say obviously, but we are just in a supply zone. So, you know, like I said, nice take profit area or hedge position again. I think if you were watching that one, I'm not short in any of the market at the minute. I'm more about, at the minute, like I've mentioned before, risk/long exposure on derivatives, then just take a bit of profit, then chill out and just see what happens. All right. Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, no problem, Martin. Yeah, just grab those, just start with the basics and go to the OBD, Volume King and stuff. I've updated the Liquidity King template a little bit, but that is shared in the Discord, and I can drop it in the Telegram as well if needed. But yeah, it just gives you a pretty much an overview of the way we look at things, so to speak. Quick look at ETH, although I don't want to dwell on ETH too much because it's hyper boring, isn't it? Let me just jump here. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of lag and stuff at the minute. Let me just see if Safari's coming back. Yeah, it doesn't want to work, does it? No worries. Yeah, a little bit of lag today. Not sure why. A little few things not loading up. I hope that the alts are okay. Yeah, alts seem to be loading up and stuff, so that's not too bad. Okay. Yeah, all right. We'll stick with it for a second then. Right, give us a shout. Give us a shout if there's any alts we need to look at, because I do have to say I've not particularly looked at too many alts today, to be honest. So I'm going to have a look at my alerts and just see if anything's ripping me, shouting me at the minute and asking me to get in. But I do have to say I'm not that too fussed about risk exposure for alts at the minute today, because I'd rather big boy Bitcoin finds its footing, to be honest, as I do think that can come down a little bit lower. And yeah, you can see here stuff like ICP's catching a bid, but if the market wants to drop down a little bit, then you're going to get that on ICP as well, aren't you? So yeah, just give us a shout in the chat if there's any I need to look at or I'm missing. Not too many alerts popping off at the minute. LDO, Qcoin double R, Sol, LTC. Okay, let's have a look at LTC. What that's that doing? Yeah, I could still see that coming down a little bit further, to be honest. What we didn't do, actually, let's go and have a look at the Bitcoin before we dive into some more alts. Let's go and have a look at the OBC and see what order blocks we've got below, what we can decipher from below. I've really not got my screen set on this one either, have I? Right, I'll tell you why. Let me get rid of widgets. Alerts. Let me get rid of that. That should be better. Okay. Right. So what we can see below is we've got some order blocks on Bitcoin. Obviously, I'm just on spot USDT at the minute, coming all the way down to 69.5. I think any of these levels would be really, really nice, as we did, kill a lot of offers above. What tends to happen when you filled the liquidity above, as we've seen, you need to go and auction price and find the liquidity lower, okay? So, yeah, any of these levels, you've got full order blocks going down, and then this is going to be your wick space is going to start anywhere under 69, I would say. So you've got these OBC, so order book changes gaps, directly. Obviously, you can see one there, 68.9. That can create wick space and bounces. What does that mean? It's basically you've got no activity in the order books whatsoever there. As price comes down, we can then create activity, and people can then come in and start bidding these levels. But right at this minute, if price was to just drop down, this will create wick space. And then a lot lower, yeah, I mean, at the very least, in the next 12 hours or so, at the very least, I would like to come down to at least 68. I think really would be really, really nice. That is your biggest resting limit order at the minute, 66.6. So cheaper the better, as I always say. And I do like it when we get these rotations down, to be honest, just for trading purposes, really. I think a lot of people overthink it, especially when they're trading derivatives every day. I think you can just relax a little bit more, really. When price starts to rotate down, it's actually a lot easier because you go into historical levels that we've already seen. So yeah, really, really nice. And especially at the minute, I think Bitcoin's holding quite well up here in these high 60k levels. But yeah, 66.6 is your largest resting limit order at the minute. Does that entity go and get filled? We'll have to see. But these are your wick spaces. And for me, initially at the minute, anywhere under 69 down to 68, I think could be very, very nice. So I'd be happy to do a little bit of business down there. Right, yeah, Mother's Milk is keen on DOT. Do we all still like DOT? Is it got a narrative now? It's a funny one because it's been such a busy year or so, hasn't it, with some of these new chains coming out and stuff. Has DOT still got a team, for one? Does it still have a narrative to move? Yeah. So okay, so just initially 15-minute charts. This is probably going to come lower. I don't know what this white line is here. It's probably a value area from looking at it in previous live sessions with you guys. So we will go and check a high time frame in a second. But right at this minute, there's no real bid. To be honest, is there? I don't even know what it does, bro. Why do you want to trade it then? Why? There's so much out there to trade. Have you got a spot exposure on it or something? Are you holding spot exposure under your floorboards, sir? Uncollateralized spot exposure. Look, the DOT chart's really good. And I've not seen this before. I didn't look at this at the time, so this is a hindsight thought and obviously a hindsight trade. But that's a DOT diamond. Okay, so that is a DOT alt diamond and top level pro, and it's coming in at a top level. That was probably at the time when Bitcoin was hitting that 64k level. But what I'm gonna say is, look how good that is. Absolutely brilliant. That is exactly what you want to see. You get your risk exposure there, you have your stop under the top level, and away you go. Right now, I would say there's no particular edge on DOT, but yeah, that's absolutely brilliant, that one. If you're just trading derivatives, that is exactly what you want to see. It's the sort of thing you see on AVAX and the like. Just look at where it's come from and double. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, probably. Yeah, it probably is. I mean, a lot of alt BTC charts are probably look dead and are probably going to rise, aren't they? I would say in the coming months, in time they will work there, but it's probably not until Bitcoin's put in some kind of definitive high. What do I mean by definitive? We're still, although we're tackling all-time highs and we've put in new all-time highs on Bitcoin, it's been nothing of fireworks, has it? It's not been the 80, 90, 100k or something. So when Bitcoin maybe does that and then settles a little bit, then yes, you know, probably we're going to have a, dot coming down again here. Is that because BTC's dropping? I hope it is, to be honest, because as I always say, it makes for better trading. Yeah, BTC dropping a little bit, not too bad. But yeah, that's good. Levels to play. I'd like under 69 minimum, towards 68, and then we'll do a bit of business. Let's just flick back to DOT and let's just go and have a look. Yeah, so DOT has come from really, really good spot double bands with a really, really good level there. Let's go and have a look at a 4 hour. So 4 hour, interestingly enough, was right on its trend as well there. Okay, where you had those last diamonds. So it's basically trending, isn't it? And this is why you obviously need to just keep an eye on its higher time frame. So yeah, the kind of 8.3 level on DOT is it trend. The white line I've got there is just a pure classic TA, randomly drawn. Probably value area high of its entire range, I would say. Yeah, it is. Yeah, okay. It's moved a little bit. I'll get rid of that now because we're kind of trending. But yeah, probably value area high, something like that. So yeah, DOT looking very good. It's pulled back. You got a diamond right on the trend, so very, very valid. Looking great. Let's jump back to that 4 hour again. But yeah, won't surprise me if you churn out some of this area. So yeah, if you're long from down there, you stops in and you want to hold your risk exposure, then this is going to look pretty good, isn't it? It won't surprise me if you just kind of like maybe just curve out some of this area here. That would look pretty nice on DOT, I would say. Others I want to look at. Let's have a go and have a look at Sol. Give me a shout if there's any others you need to look at as well. I'm just going to flick back to a 15-minute basis. Yeah, and nice to see. So this entity on DOT, just quickly, they probably thought they weren't going to get a fill. They were probably, you see his price starts to come down. Okay, and then you've got this entity here and they're kind of like, okay, I want to fill. And then it bounces and then they think, oh, fuck it, I'm just going to pull the order because I don't want it. So what you need to watch is as price rotates down is just watch the price action. You know, you want these, it's the same as what I said on Bitcoin. If we start to move up, you want these USDT levels to move up and meet price, really meet it and then carry it forward. So yeah, nice to see on DOT. You've got these levels coming in. Let him go and meet it. Feel like BTC is just chop and alts. The BTC DOM going down, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I think I posted last. When did I do my last video? Was it last Thursday going into Friday? I said, although we pushed up, your actual 4 hour, you're in a range on Bitcoin now, aren't you? You're kind of forming this range, and a lot of people don't like ranges. I have to say that I do. But, you know, yes, Bitcoin's moving a good few percent up and down, but it's still chopping. So unless you are scalping, you know, you can obviously achieve a lot if you're just scalping those moves. But it is choppy. It is choppy, and yeah, and why it's doing that is because it has to auction its price. You know, like mentioned, it has to auction price. You've come up, you've found offers. There's no follow-up bid as of yet. What do you need to do? You need to drop price and find a bid. It's a market auction, okay? So yeah, I quite like it when you get these price drops, right? I just want to go and have a look at AVAX and then give us a shot. Yeah, nothing on AVAX, to be honest. AVAX, again, keep an eye on AVAX. Similar to DOT, you do get really, really nice alert overlays. So we're not alert traders, but certain assets, like I've mentioned, do get really, really nice alert overlays. AVAX is one of those. Not a lot to see on AVAX. You've got a slight bit of bid coming in now. It's probably perps traders, which is here. Yeah, okay. Closer down to these levels, the better. Really, you want to go, and perps traders look a little bit early here. They're probably trying to get involved a little bit too early. So let price come down a little bit further. Let's go and have a look at a couple of the other top coins while we're here. And as I say, give me a shout if you've got any nice shiny coins we need to go and look at. Keeping an eye on Sol. Obviously, they've had some network outages at the minute. Meme coin traders infuriated. Can you imagine if you had some meme coins in profit and you couldn't get out? Horrible, horrible thing. I do have to say I've been there before. So yeah, let Sol settle a little bit. I believe it's coming back down into range a little bit. We will just go and have a look at the higher time frame as well. But yeah, nice chart on Sol. I don't really trade it particularly too much, although I do like to watch it because it is one of the leaders of the pack at the minute, isn't it? But yeah, it just looks like it fell out of trend there, came back up to meet trend and did a kind of classic TA before it rolled over. No real bid at the minute. Again, similar to AVAX, it's perps traders trying to get involved here. I would prefer to run all this liquidity and get some spot bid, I would say. I think we're kind of in one of those periods again where if you trade in altcoins, have a look at the alt and the alt BTC bid depths for Confluence, to be honest. Quick look at a higher time frame on Sol. Broke the initial, obviously, trend back there, kind of went back and tested it. I'm not too concerned here. I think it's probably just going to form this range, isn't it? Yeah, it's just going to... You know, retail traders just went apeshit long into this zone, so a little bit further down would probably be really, really nice. Let's just grab the fixed range. I'm really not a fan of Chrome, you know. It's kind of why I don't use it too much, to be honest. Yeah, so value area lows of the range right here. Yep, I would be looking for bid down here, but I wouldn't get involved unless I saw spot bid, and there's absolutely nothing at the minute. So let it come down with Bitcoin, with the others, let it find a bid, and then we'll go from there. All right. Nice chart though, Sol. I do have to say I do like it a lot. I think it'll probably do well in the coming weeks and months. You just have to be a little bit patient with it and let it do its thing. Don't get too overexposed too early. What other coin? I just want to have a look at STX, actually. I've not looked at that in a while. Yeah, came from big bid depth there again. No edge right now. But again, one to watch if Bitcoin fans find some depth. STX is a really, really nice to trade alongside BTC because it always pulls a few more percent. So that could be really, really nice. I will have a look. I'm just interested because I've not looked at Link in a few days. And I know it's been pretty boring, to be honest. I just want to see where some demand is possibly coming in on Link, because it's generally more often than not when coins get a little bit boring and start to accumulate a little bit and then traders forget about them, which is fine if you just kind of hold in spot, you know, fire and forget trades from a lot lower. But if you're wanting to get involved in any sort of hedge or derivatives trade, yeah, Link's one I do forget about now and again. No real edge right now. Again, you probably want this a little bit lower again, don't you? Probably down into this 16 level, I would say. Let's have a quick look at what the 4-hour structure is looking like together while we're on. Yeah, it was in this kind of range here. So it ranged here. We had this marked up from the live session the other week. Broke out, nice breakout. I don't really like that structure, to be honest. I do have to say. I'm not a pattern trader at all, but I don't particularly like that. That's a really, really bad drawing, isn't it? I don't really like that diamond shape, I have to say. So okay, it needs a bid. Link needs a bid, or we're going back down again, aren't we? Yeah, I'm not going to call out any drastic levels. Cheers, Mother's Milk. Speak soon. Yeah, I'm not going to call out any drastic levels, but Link needs a bid. Maker while I'm here, because Maker's been interesting. Yeah, needs a bid a little bit lower as well. LTC for reference, the old school coin is following. Yeah, again, broke its trend and then very similar. You see these offers here on LTC? Classic, absolute classic TA of a back test on a trend line. Let me just show you that. I'll go to a 1 hour actually. Oops. Absolute classic back test, kind of fake out, back test the trend line, hit it again, but with some offers. And then kind of rolling over. Interesting. I'm not going to get bearish here. I just want to see if demand comes in. That's all on some of these assets. And it does look like we do need to go a little bit lower on most assets, I do have to say. Let me just have a look at Barb was firing. I did look at it a little bit earlier, didn't I? Yeah, this is the thing when you're in this kind of zone now, and you're kind of wanting Bitcoin to come a little bit lower, a little bit of a few $100 bounce right now on Bitcoin, but you're almost wanting Bitcoin to come a little bit lower. So you kind of don't want to put risk exposure on the altcoins just yet, do you? And that's why you kind of like want a little bit lower, really. That'd be perfect. Noah John Atom. Actually, another one I do want to look at while you guys are on as well is Matic. Is Matic doing anything at the minute? No, but again, really, really nice order flow and order books here. Again, that's your Matic alert overlay for the alt diamond top. So really, really nice. And I mean, even if you played that one, you probably wouldn't have got stopped out on that low there. You get again, so order books on some of these coins are looking really, really nice. So bounce there over the weekend. You know, and even just that lower 2.5 to 5% band just signifying that there's still bid here, and you get continuation up. But yeah, Matic, I don't know what that line is that I've got marked there. I'm going to have to just go and have a look at it. Falling back into some sort of lower highs, isn't it? Interesting. Yeah, it needs a real push. Yeah, Matic does need a real push, to be honest, again. Like a lot of alts. I think it'd be good to come down a little bit lower into the halving, to be honest. Nice and healthy. I know that's something that a lot of people say quite often. It's nice and healthy to get these retracements, but it just makes for better trading as well, I do believe. What else do we need to look at? LDR, yeah, boring with Bitcoin as well, to be honest. It did used to have nice order books. It's a little bit messy at the minute, I do have to say. LDR a few months ago was really, really nice to trade with ETH when you're trending hard. But it does have these messy order books when you do come into that kind of like range period. So no edge right now. Look for a little bit lower. Nice one there. Engine. Let's have a look what Engine's doing. I do like this asset, but again, it kind of wants to consolidate, doesn't it? Again, I don't know if I've got this one added to my alerts. Actually, I might have to add it, because you can see here, as soon as you get that bid, it really moves well, really moves well, and it just attacks the supply zone, and it doesn't give up too easily. You can see it just attack the supply zone and then gets continuation. 4 hour, let me just flick to a cleaner chart. 4 hour, yeah, okay, so I think we looked at this one the other week and said it's doing something similar to, obviously, Sol and AVAX, isn't it? So yeah, it's just forming this range now. Put a really nice extended high in up here, but you're now going to come down into, and obviously you can come obviously a lot lower on these kind of assets after these mega pushes up, but you're probably going to come down into some really nice range lows now. And if you can hold any of these range lows, or even nick all of these range lows on assets like this, it could be really good, and you could get some really nice risk reward trades. So, you know, anywhere into this 30 level is your value area lows. As you enter these levels, if you enter these levels, simple, just look for a bid, look for the top levels defending or filling in these zones. If you can wick any of these lows, you know, any of these kind of low areas, 30 and below would be absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. Really good. Nice chart on that one. Let me just go back to the overlay for a second. Yeah, looking nice. What's Bitcoin doing then? Not a bad bounce, actually. So this line I've got here is our meme triangle that everybody's looking at. Not bad, to be honest. $400 bounce from the meme triangle trend line. I would suggest that's probably some market bid coming in. So if we are going to get, you know, as I've mentioned, if you are going to get any continuation, which I'm not seeing directly right now, but from the central exchanges here in your resting limit orders, you know, you want these guys to start getting involved, and you want the limit orders to start chasing price up, which we're just not seeing that yet. It may come, but yeah, only seeing supply a little bit higher up. So, you know, there's nothing to say that market bid won't just float this up and you go and fill some of these offers a little bit higher here. You know, maybe we have a hell of a volatile day, volatility kicks back in, and we get a massive punch up to that 75k level. That would be very cheeky. Not too far away, 6%. Can do that in a day, especially when you've got these liquidity pockets higher up. That would be quite nice to do. BTC dominance, nothing to show really. So what do we get from that? Could be boring the next 12-24 hours, to be honest. Maybe you just kind of like linger around here looking at volume. Maybe you linger in this area, push some more of these retail longs in, extend that funding profile a little bit, and then get your lower flush, because, you know, open interest hanging around up here, funding profiles floating up as retail try and get long. This is a classic breakout trade, isn't it? Where you've pushed out of the meme triangle, which is your line here. And I say meme because I don't really. I look at them. I do look at them, and I pay attention to them. But I would never ever trade anything like that. You know, for me personally, I trade the bid and the ask and the price action, and that is it. But yeah, this looks like breakout traders. So breakout, come down, back test the breakout area, and it looks like you're getting a market bid in here. Okay, so if this is going to be a valid push from here, you really, as I say, you want that USDT bid to come and follow through, which we're just not quite seeing yet. We're not quite seeing that yet. Okay, so I would prefer to just sit this zone out and kind of do nothing really. If you do push up, you've got all these offers from 2.5 to 5% away. Okay, right here in your central exchanges, so you're maybe not going to get too far. If you're long in this zone, you're maybe not going to get too far. If you're scalping, that could be quite an achievement to, you know, get those kind of percentages. But for me, I'd rather chill out here and just relax. You know, hopefully you guys have got some risk exposure from a lot lower, especially if you trade in spot, obviously. Maybe you're still holding some longs from that beautiful diamond, TRDR BTC diamond that we had at the 61. Maybe you're holding a little bit from the 64. All very, very, very valid trades. These can just be nice take profit areas, and we'll see what happens. All right, guys. So yeah, not too much to see really. I've not seen any mega alts that I'd want to get absolutely risk on with, especially when Bitcoin's just doing its thing here, to be honest. So what we'll do is I'll just give it 30 seconds. If you guys have got any questions, just drop them in the chat. Don't have to be trading or altcoin related or anything. If you've just got any other TRDR questions, just give us a shout. If you are hitting any lag, yeah, I think that was just my Safari browser earlier, and I have to confess, I do have a lot of windows open, a lot of software running, to be honest. But yeah, if you've got any questions, drop them in the chat now, or forever hold your peace. So Tuesday today, what we'll do is we'll probably do, especially if we hit some volatility, we'll probably do another live session on Thursday. We only did one last week. It was basically Easter holidays. We had a bank holiday on Monday. So a little bit of a break and a takeaway. But what we'll do is we'll probably do another live on Thursday, and then we'll do a pop-up in the Discord as well, which have been quite nice. So you can drop in the Discord away from these YouTube live sessions, and we can get a little bit more detailed on the TRDR console if there's any questions or anything, which are quite nice to do. A little bit more of a casual chat in there. All right, guys, we'll call it a day. We'll be live again on Thursday. Hope you have a brilliant week. I'll be around in the TRDR socials if you've got any questions. Speak soon.